Hi, my name is Lauren Weddleton, and I'm the territory manager for the Boston, New England area. I've been with Cardiva for about 1 year. Prior to that, I spent a lot of time in the cardiac OR selling a variety of devices. So while both dealing with the heart, as you can imagine, EP and cardiac surgery were very different. EP was a whole new world to me, and being in the cath and EP labs were also different. I was certainly leaving my comfort zone, but the following two things really helped me kind of adapt. The first thing was I went back to kind of the basics of sales. Sales is sales, and I feel like if you're a great salesperson and you have experience, you can pivot from the different call points. I would say depending on the product, it may take a little bit longer, but it's certainly doable. The second thing, I think Cardiva did a really nice job with creating a team for me. And I was surrounded by a group of people who had experience in the lab and also with EP. Having an MDM and trainers that were there to support and help guide me where I wasn't sure of things was huge. Also, although it was new, I wasn't afraid to kind of use these people to navigate the territory. I knew I had the sales experience and I leaned on my Cardiva people for support in other areas. Certainly being type A, it's hard to give up that control, but it's worked out. So I think one of the other reasons we've been so successful is because we've embraced the team approach and really followed the process that Cardiva has and used the resources that have been given to us. I think historically in sales, I was used to being on my own little island and doing everything by myself. Cardiva is really the opposite. And I struggled with that at first, trying to figure out how all these pieces fit together. And if the MDM was presenting the value deck, how was I fitting into that? And it definitely took a little while to figure out, but we all have our own strengths. And I think it was in our best interest to kind of play to them. An example that I can think of is my clinical Clay has had about 20 years of cath lab experience. And I couldn't compete with that, but I didn't need to because I have other things that I can bring to the table. And it's okay if he's, better than me at proctoring the cases. I have him and he's on my team and I can use him and it's a great relationship. So I think once we were able to get a handle on our team, and how we fit together, we were able to manage our business a lot better. I think another aspect of Cardiva is the land and expand. And in my opinion, there are several ways to kind of interpret this, but it just needs to kind of be adjusted depending on the account. So certainly landing with MVP on the EP side of things, and then expanding into the cath lab with Vascade is great. Definitely, taking our whole bag and talking about it with everybody at the introduction is hugely beneficial. But I've also been able to look at my Vascade accounts and see where there's opportunity to expand into the different departments. We've had a handful of accounts that have been ordering Vascade, but sparingly, and we've been able to expand into IR or vascular. And having the cardiac background also helped with the vascular side of it. Providing case support and education for those individuals and departments has also really helped us, the ones that were already using Vascade. An example I can think of is Portsmouth Hospital. So they use MVP and Vascade in the EP and cath lab. We were just going in and doing kind of like a routine in-service in the beginning. We wanted to meet everybody. But when we were there doing that, we also just kind of randomly ran into this PA from the neuro IR, and he was able to listen to us and he took our device to his physician. So we expanded there, and not only did that happen at that hospital, but the doctors who were there also went to another hospital, and oddly enough, they had Vascade on their shelves too. So just a lot of little touches, and just trying to, use Vascade being on the shelf to our advantage and reminding them to use it. I think a lot of you can relate to getting the product on the shelf is probably more than half the battle. Our jobs as reps is very challenging, and certainly in this new COVID landscape. So I think for us, taking the path of least resistance has been really helpful for us in growing our business. we've basically been able to re-engage and expand the use of our products in the lab, and that's worked really well for us. I guess I would just close with 3 things that I think have made myself and Clay very successful in our business and managing it. Number one is embracing that team approach and knowing where everyone's strengths are and playing to it. It doesn't happen overnight, but once everything comes together, it's really worth it. I would say second thing, and I didn't talk about this so much, but setting the expectations for your doctors, especially for MVP. And I think you'll be there in the beginning to train them and support them, in the launch, but you don't want them to become dependent on you. I think, and, only using the device when you're there. And that's a really easy trap to fall into. One example I can give is Tufts Medical Center. That was our first launch. We were there for about 3 to 4 weeks, and we were getting everyone trained and comfortable. But, we said to them, there'll be a point where you don't need us here anymore, and you guys can totally do this on your own. And certainly we'll check in with you on a weekly basis, but we've got to go sell more stuff. So, they're one of our largest accounts now. And I think that's really the beauty of Vascade and MVP is that they're very elegant devices, but they're also simple and easy to use. I'd say the last thing is really having the right people on your side at the hospital. And of course, you need to have the physician support. But in addition to that, I would say having the lab managers or database coordinators, just someone there in the lab that's on your side and they understand the value of the product is huge. And it may seem like a really simple and silly thing to say, but we've done 4 launches and 3 of the 4 have gone really well, fabulously. And the one that didn't go so great was the one where we didn't have that person. And they provide this incredible amount of support and kind of the day-to-day and can just help answer any questions, and they're your people. So that's really helped me and Clay. So again, I get every territory is different, and you kind of need to figure out what works best for you and your team. But those are just some of the things that have helped us and that kind of how we've been able to manage our business and be successful. And even coming from a very different cardiac background into EP, I think those are just some of the things that have made us successful. So thank you for your time. Good luck with the rest of your training. Stay safe, and I look forward to meeting you all at some point. Take care.